Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. I am Coach Hadassah, personal development coach, metaphysician, wellness entrepreneur, and proud founding member of Extreme FX Global Academy, where Bitcoin and Forex collide. And with today's topic on our Wealthy Wednesday, we're doing a recap. We're doing a recap of wealth. It was something that we did earlier today. I usually go live twice, so at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then again at this time, which is 6:30 Central Standard Time. And I try my best to hit that 15-minute mark, right? Uh, so especially because my granddaughter, she might come on here and she's like, Grandma, it says 15 minutes, but you've been on here for 16 minutes. You said 15 minutes, but you've been on here for like 25 minutes. So we're going to try to do this in 15 minutes. Okay. So look, our recap today, we talked about wealth. We talked about, I guess pretty much like what it means, wealth and what it means and how we build it. So just giving a little bit about that, we want to get into the word itself, right? Wealth or wealthy, meaning it's a root word that is well or will, WEAL. And that word, WEAL, has to do with, it's two, it's a noun. And is it a noun and a verb? Like, yeah, noun and verb. So in a sense of it being, no, that was will, WILL. So WEAL led us to WILL, which is a verb or a noun and a verb. Okay. And it has to do with, well-being. So wealth, well-being, and the welfare. So what does that have to do with? That has to do with, wellness, health, just health, healthy mind, healthy body, just health all across the board, health in our relationships, right? Like healthy relationships, healthy, what else? Healthy finances, health, as far as our social circle, which of course would have to do with our relationships, healthy environment, just healthy and the well-being of it. And then when that word led us to will, which is WILL, we talked about that and talked about how in the scriptures when Moses had his encounter with the creator and he asked him what his name was. And we always hear that, I am that I am, but he was speaking to Moses and Moses was a Hebrew, right? He was a Hebrew in the Hebrew nation. And so what? He spoke in Hebrew. So in Hebrew, he said, Aya Asher Aya. And Aya Asher Aya means I will be what I will to be. And that's that word will that's going into that we derive from that word wealth. And then will is not only a noun, but it's a verb. So as a noun, it's purpose, it's determination, it's joy, right? It's delight. It's also the mind. It's mind, right? So then as a verb, it is to determine, right? To determine by act of choice. So we have to have a healthy mind in order to make a righteous decision. you know and kind of when we hear that word like righteous, I don't know why does it, we're not going to get into that because we only have 15 minutes. Okay. So that's just kind of the recap of where we went in the direction of wealth. And we brought in, Solomon in it. And we brought in all of these different things according to the scriptures because what? Wealth has to do with principles. Okay. Any book, that I have read on wealth, and then even interviews as far as wealthy people was concerned, interviewing wealthy people, observing wealthy people, just being around wealthy people, they live by principles. Okay, that's just it. Living by certain principles, and these principles have to do with wholeness. Wholeness, like having a whole family and just all of these great things. So it's wholeness with our families, wholeness within ourselves, right? Wholeness within our, even our finances, just wholeness across the board. And they live by principles because principles have to do with the law. It is the law. So any book, you could grab any book. Of course, I have many of them, right? And the common thread that I found in each one, and even like I said, with just knowing wealthy people, right? Knowing wealthy people, observing, being around them. That's what I know. I know that wealthy people live by principles and act on those principles because, again, it is the law. So to not be obedient to the principles, not be obedient to the law, that's how you lose your wealth or not even come into it. Right? Not even come into it, because wealth is not something that's over there, right? It's not something outside of each one of us. Wealth is within us. That's where it is. It's within us. And so I was it was funny because after the live that I did earlier, I was sitting in the living room with my husband, right? And so he was watching, for us hip hop heads, uh Nas. Remember when Nas did that showed, with the symphony? So here it is going from, especially with us that grew up with hip hop, right? We grew up with hip hop. Hip hop grew with us because that's who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like we are hip hop, right? And so coming from coming from the streets, coming from the projects and things like that, to next thing he's on stage in a tuxedo, right? On stage in a tuxedo, in a bow tie, rhyming with a symphony behind him. Okay. And one of the things that he talked about in kind of the interview part was that, like, hey, I didn't know that I would be here, especially from my background and where I came from. He was like, we grew up and this was his words, like, we grew up in the slums. And so, yeah, I didn't have a chance to go to the best schools and be around the best people that can put me in the best position to do this or do that or whatever, like most uh the wealthy people do, right? Have these social circles and they network amongst themselves and having the certain knowledge that you would do this and do that. We didn't have any of that. But then how did he get there? How did he get in that position? How did he get to where it's like, you're from the streets and the projects of New York to now you're making multi-million dollar deals? You know what I'm saying? Well, how? Why? Well, it was the same thing that happened with the Messiah. It was the same thing that happened with Yahshua the Messiah. When we all know that was just Yahweh and manifested in a physical body, working his own creation. People said that same thing about him, like that. Like who is this with all of this wisdom and this knowledge and the miracles and the things that he's doing? Um, isn't he from Nazareth? Nazareth was equivalent to the hood, right? Nazareth was equivalent to the hood. Um, Not only that, ain't he just a carpenter's son? A carpenter. What's a carpenter? That's not a white collar worker. That's a blue collar worker, right? Joseph, his father was a carpenter. So he worked alongside of his father building houses. coming from the hood. You know, how do you have all this knowledge? Well, because it was within, just like it's within each and every one of us. And all it takes is our own encounters, our own encounters. Like, yeah, we'll meet people along the way and, and things like that. But for the most part, it's something that comes, it's within, because I just talked about that. One of those things in that is joy, right? Well, that was something that was mentioned earlier, where joy is a fruit of the spirit. That's not something that's outside, that's inside. All of that is inner. So everyone is wealthy. That's inner wealth. So how do you tap into it? And not only just tap into it, but how do you manifest it? Right? How do you manifest it? It's all there. It has to be a oneness. It has to be going within. It has to be shutting out all the noise. But then, not only that, with shutting out all the noise. So that's what it's about, that prayer, that meditation. Because when you're praying, you're talking. That's what prayer is, just talking. Meditation, now you're listening within. And then when you hear, I almost don't like to say, to hear that still small voice. It might start out that way. It might start quietly, but then after a while, the more and more you get acclimated to that voice, the louder and more clearer it becomes. And then the next thing that you are led to what? The will. Because what is a will? That was something that came out too with our definition, or the meaning. I'd like to say the meaning of wealth, because it goes into that will. Well, what is a will? A written document. Written. This is what wealthy people do, this, right? Okay, because not only are you passing down wisdom and knowledge, and it will look, I'm like, it will behoove you to go back and watch, the power, the hour of power, where you can get the gist of it all, right? Get the gist of everything. But not only is it um where we, okay, yeah, the written document. So a will being a written document expressing a person's wishes about property, but it said after death. Okay, now what happened? We think about the Messiah, right? Well, what happened with the death, burial, resurrection, ascension, and then the outpour of the Holy Spirit, or whole spirit, that we all have access to. It's not just hidden, like what's going on now, this hidden knowledge, where there's no longer hidden knowledge, especially with the internet and everybody having information at their fingertips. Of course, we need to research and research and research again. We can't believe everything that come across, because there's a lot of stuff out there. But for the most part, the internet, social media, all of these things, or I'll say the internet and the information that's being put there, it's really changing the face of education. It's changing it's changing the way that we learn or educate ourselves, and what we learn. It's changing it. Why? Because it's no longer just held by, certain institutions. Okay, you have to go here in order to get this knowledge. You have to go there in order to get this knowledge. You have to, like, no, not anymore. It's not just held by a special group. Here's the thing, it never really was, especially after 2,000-3,000 years ago. That outpour of the Holy Spirit was just the access of, okay, now now my spirit is everywhere. Everybody can activate it, no matter who it is, no matter who. So when that that death occurred, the people that were walking with the Messiah and taught by him, they thought they killed him. Then they found out that, wait, I thought he was dead, and this idea right? That was planted, or what he taught, and people were activated. And it's like now it's even more of them. They were trying to figure out what was going on. And they were asking, wait, wasn't these people were with him, right? And then they were trying to kill off those people too. But it was like it was too late. It was widespread everywhere. And this is what's happening now, right? It's when we talk about a written document expressing a person's wishes about property that's left after death. So what's the will? It is written. It is written. Let's take the religious thing off of it and just look at this as a will written. What's to be done with the wisdom, with the knowledge, with the power, right? After the what? Death, because it's a cycle. After death, there's life. Nothing ever really dies. It goes from one form to another. So the question is, especially with what's going on now, there's something that's dead at this point, right? The old way of how we lived before, especially before the pandemic. Things are changing now. Things have changed already. Opportunity is ripe. Opportunity is out here. That's something that's within this whole, will wealth thing, is because it says something about even um happy, or happiness, the pursuit of happiness. And happiness, the root word of that is hap. Hap meaning fortune, right? Hap meaning chance. Chance meaning opportunity. Opportunities are out here, right? I'm sharing with you all an opportunity now. Okay? Because in about what, 30 minutes, I'm going into a hyper launch where I'm sharing the Extreme FX Global Academy opportunity. What is that an opportunity of? It's an opportunity of how to learn how to trade in the Forex market, right? You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach him how to fish, he can eat for a lifetime, right? That's what we're doing. We're teaching people how to fish in a $7.3 trillion market. It's 7 billion people on the earth that has access to a $7.3 trillion market, global, right? And where can you do it? You can do it from your cell phone, you can do it from a laptop, you can do it from an iPad. That's what you can do, right? Crypto. Okay, cryptocurrency, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Not only that, personal development, financial literacy. Because when you get the money, okay, if you feel like, oh, I need this or I need that, when you get it, how do you keep it? Well, not only do we teach you how to get it, we teach you how to keep it. Not only do we teach you how to get it, and you can get it from no matter where you are, as long as you have, like I said, look, your cell phone, a laptop, iPad, and you could go on a go with you. So now you have time freedom. You have freedom, and you have freedom of time. And then not only that, what to do with it after you get it. And sharing this opportunity with other people, just like I'm sharing it with you. Right? Like these are the days and times where we no longer have to be, we're breaking the chains. The change, not we're breaking the chains. The chains have been broken. They're already broken, right? At least from a physical standpoint. But will they be broken from here? Where what does will have to do with, right? It said purpose, the mind, a determination of choice. If you have a healthy mind, because health is included in wealth, what do you choose? What do you choose? Do you really want to be free? Right? When you want to be free, you choose opportunities that are there to help you and continuing to go that way, that route, that road, right? So I'm cutting my time short there because we have been over for about 5 minutes. Right? So you can see that information that's scrolling across there for the hyper lounge that you are invited to at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll go to my link tree. That's linktree/coach.hadassah. And then you'll see the Zoom tab. So you want to click on that, and then you enter the password power in all caps, POWER, power. Okay. And so that is my time. We'll see you back again tomorrow as well on our hour of power at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. But right now, go ahead and head over to the Hyper Lounge. We'll be there in about 10 minutes. All right. So you guys take care, and I will see you on the other side of success. Hey, it's time to step into wealth. Bring it up because it's already in you. All right. Peace.